We're going to do a yoga practice today that is dedicated to opening our shoulders as a lever to opening up our heart. You know, as the antithesis to like phone neck, you know, you're just like doing this like all the time, we get strained. So we're going to actually use our head to open up our hearts, and in so doing, get our shoulders to move. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for our practice today. And the way I want to start our practice is just what we're doing. We're sitting. Let's sit. Let's take a deep breath in. Hold your breath for a second, and then lean forward with a sigh. And do that again. Full breath in. Now hold your breath, but relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Lean forward with a deeper sigh out. One more. Now I invite you to set thumb and first finger together. Turn your palms open on your knees. Close your eyes and let's begin a couple rounds of Ujjayi breath as we feel into how we're doing in the moment. I like to say that, we got ourselves to practice, but now we need to arrive on all the other levels, right? Feel your breath moving in and out. Bring all of your attention just to inhale and exhale. Tell yourself that there's nothing you'd rather be doing than this in this moment. Let's be 100% here. In this moment, if you could relax just a little bit more in your person, spine nice and upright, but shoulders relaxed and face relaxed. Do whatever it takes to get just a little bit more at ease. As we go through our practice today, I would encourage you to listen to what your body needs, and let's follow our own desires for our practice. If you want to join me with an Om, you're welcome to put your palms together at your heart. You're welcome to listen if you prefer. Let's inhale. So good, everybody. So come to a lying down on your back position. I understand the inherent danger in that. We'll never come back up. It'll be like start in Shavasana, end in Shavasana. Now, just start with your fingertips to your shoulders, and knees could be bent or legs could be straight, but you're going to inhale, open the elbows, and exhale, pull your elbows together. You're just making circles in the air with your elbows. Close your eyes here as you give yourself an opportunity to relax and settle your nervous system. Maintain your Ujjayi breaths. You know, if we were to really do nothing other than just lie down and practice Ujjayi breaths for an hour and 10 minutes or something, we'd walk out of here totally transformed. Add to that all these great poses we're going to add in our practice, and we're going to really kind of hit turbo on our transformation. So I want to be careful with this next move, but you're going to bend your knees, roll over to your left side, and as you do so, you're going to bring your right arm back behind you like you're trying to scratch in between your shoulder blades. Palm is going to be facing out so that when you lie down, you're going to turn back over onto your back, and you're going to be, your palm is going to be down. If this is not recommended for your shoulder, just bring your hand down to lower back rather than middle back. Kind of hug lower back down into the mat a little bit as you give yourself a couple rounds of deep breath. Torture is not invited into practice, and so if this feels anything less than amazing, then back off. Roll back over to your left side. Release your right arm, and then go all the way over to the other side. So turn over to the right side, bring your left hand behind you, and then slowly roll back over so that you're essentially made a hand sandwich, right? Your palm is on your mat, your hand is resting between your back and your yoga mat. Take a couple rounds of deep breath as if your breath from the back side of your heart could press down into your hand and massage the muscles between hand and back, massage that movement of your ribs and the vertebra. Ease your way back over to the right side, and from there, come up right to a seated position. So in a seated pose, bring your left arm up toward the sky, turn so your palm faces behind you, and then bend your elbow so it's like you're trying to scratch your shoulder blade, and put your other palm up. Push the elbow up into your palm, lift up, and with the back of your head pressing. Amy, would you mind running and grabbing one more person? Thank you. With the back of your head pressing into your forearm, hug your sitting bones down into the floor, and then ease your way into kind of like this. Like your head's pulling back, but your tailbone's pulling down, and then you're gonna lean over to a side like this. Yeah, so the opposite of whatever elbow you're holding onto, you're gonna lean to the other side. Yeah. Good, bring it back upright and switch. So bring this other arm up, so right hand up. Bend your elbow, place your fingertips, down to your shoulder blade. Put your left palm up to elbow and press elbow up into hand, lean, so here's the deal. You're gonna pull the back of your head into your forearm, and that gives you a little bit of a back bend, so that when you root your sitting bones back down into the mat, you kind of correct some of that back bend. And then it's like you're trying to do the high jump up and over into the opposite direction of whatever elbow you're holding. Yeah, perfect, yeah. Deep breaths. Awesome. Ease your back out of this thing. Bring your forearms clasped together. Swing your arms up over your head and back down by your ribs. So our shoulders are an amazing joint in that there's a huge amount of mobility, right? I can come over here, scratch my shoulder blade, and if I'm flexible, I come back here, scratch the shoulder blade, I can rodeo and lasso, I got all this stuff. But whenever you have a huge amount of mobility, you have a lack of stability. And what happens is our muscles get tight in essence to try to stabilize this. We're actually going to use that stabilization to help open up our chest in our practice. Okay, once you've gone a couple times around here through the forearms, move into a hands and knees pose. And let's begin to move a little cat-cow action. You're going to inhale as your shoulder blades pull together, stretch through the belly a little bit. Exhale, draw your tailbone under and spread through the shoulder blades a little bit. And move back and forth here in a way that feels great. So I'm going to be showing some poses. I'm also just going to be talking through poses. So especially if you're doing this at home, try to listen even more than you're watching. But nonetheless, just feel into what's going on in your shoulders today. Upper back, middle back, fronts of the shoulders. The next time you exhale, round your spine, lower all the way back into child's pose. Come back to hands and knees pose, right? And we're going to do this back and forth. So if coming in and out of child's pose isn't your cup of tea, then you can just stick with a cat-cow. Okay, so back to hands and knees on the inhale, back to child's pose on the exhale. And what I'm really going for in this pose is to see how dynamic your upper back can get, right? So really exaggerate that movement of your shoulder blades away from each other. Find Uddiyana Bandha, the lower abdominal muscular contraction as it pulls in as you lower down. Okay, so the next time you come up to hands and knees, pause there for a moment. Squeeze as if you're going to pull your arms together. Squeeze as if you're going to pull your knees together. Imagine like a beach ball between your elbows. Imagine like a football between your knees. Curl your toes under and lift your knees like an inch off the floor. So just an inch as we tap into some of our front shoulder muscles, the deltoids, complemented with our pectoral muscles, the chest muscles. I don't have to tell you that the abdominals are working really overtime here. That's why we're only going to hold this for about 27 more minutes. When you're washing off your new six-pack tomorrow, you're going to thank me. I hate him, but I love him. But I hate him, but I love him. Come back to downward facing dog when you're ready, or come into downward facing dog, and improvise a little bit in down dog as you shift your weight through your hips, through your knees. Shake your head no, shake your head yes. Since we're emphasizing our shoulders today, I'm going to invite you to turn your fingers so they point slightly out. Your index finger will point straight forward, but your middle finger kind of points off into an angle. And just check in with your shoulders to feel if this is something that feels better or worse. Now, without hurting yourself, I don't think you would, but be careful. Turn so that your ring finger is pointing straight forward and your index and middle finger kind of pointing in, and notice what that does to your shoulders. Okay, so now you got the full range. Choose the one that seems to work best for your shoulders. I kind of like the turned out. Bend your knees a bunch, look forward to your hands, and as you exhale, do a hop, step, or walk feet forward to hands. Now, with fingertips to the floor, bend your knees into a high squat, look forward, draw your shoulder blades together. Yeah, keep your heels down if you can. Then straighten up your legs and fold forward as you round your spine. Bend your knees again, flat spine, look forward. Straighten it up, fold forward on the exhale, and you're just moving back and forth. This is the program. Inhale, the knees bend, hips drop a little. Straighten up, round your spine. Now you notice we're going to put a little blood flow, just do this back and forth. Blood flow through the quads and through the hamstrings, right? Through the shins and the calves. We feel your spine going back and forth. So just a lot of things going on. Perfect way to start our practice. Okay, so when you feel ready to, open your arms wide, stand all the way up, reach toward the ceiling, touch your palms together, and as you exhale, bring your hands back to your heart. Quarter sun salutation is simply inhale, reach your arms to the sky, and then exhale, palms together, back to your heart. Like that's the program. Let's do like 3 or 4 of these. Inhale, reach, and exhale, pull it back in, and just kind of feel your arms open, chest open as you receive the breath, and bring it back down on the exhale. Good. Last one maybe. Perfect. Now, half sun salutations. Reach it up, inhale. On the exhale, fold forward nice and slowly. Come up halfway to a flat spine, inhale. Fold forward again on your exhale. And stand all the way up, reach toward the sky, reach toward the ceiling. Hands together, back to heart. A little bend in the knees, root down and reach up toward the ceiling again. Dive forward again on your exhale. Inhale to a flat spine, breathe in. Fold forward again on your exhale. And then stand all the way up, inhale, reach to the sky. And exhale, hands together, back to heart. Okay, so inhale, reach up to the sky. Now we're going to work on lateral bends a little bit. So grab hold of your right wrist with your left hand, pull as tall as you can up to the sky, and as you exhale, ease your way over to the side. Get as tall as you can. Feel like your sternum is doing the lifting up. Okay. Now if this kind of bugs your lower back, put your hand to your hip and push to the side as you lean over. Give yourself a couple rounds of deep breath into this side rib cage. Root your feet down to the floor as you send both arms back toward the sky. Switch your wrists, pull up tall, and lean over to the other side. Okay? So in our everyday today, we do a lot of this hunch forward, a lot of spinal flexion. Once in a while, we do a little bit of extension, a little back bend, but we sometimes miss all this fantastic side action, and we're going to focus opening up shoulders and opening up these lateral bends today. Bring it back up to normal or up to center. Dive forward on your exhale. Come up to a flat spine as you breathe in and step back into plank pose, upper push-up position. Now, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to invite you to hold this for a couple of breaths, and you get to choose what this looks like. This could be knees on the floor. This could be knees off the floor. You get to choose. Maintain your ujjayi breath, right? Keep it enjoyable, even if there's a little bit of, even if there's a little bit of oomph in there. That's cool. Keep it enjoyable. When you're ready, exhale, lower to chaturanga. Maybe knees are on the floor, maybe they're off. Cobra pose, roll your shoulders back. Inhale, open up. And then exhale, let's lift back into downward facing dog pose. Yeah, really nice. Bend your knees a bit, look forward up to your hands. Inhale. Walk or hop forward on the exhale, nice. Now inhale, draw your shoulder blades together as you look forward. Fold forward again on your exhale. Use a little leg strength as you open up your arms to stand all the way up, reach toward the ceiling, and exhale, bring your hands back to your heart. Another sun salutation A. So inhale, reach your arms toward the sky. Fold forward on your exhale. Love it. Inhale, come up halfway to a flat spine. Use your shoulder blades pulling together. Now plant your palms and step back into plank position. Maybe one inhale here, and on your exhale, slowly lower chaturanga. Super solid. Now open up the chest to cobra, maybe upward facing dog this time. I love it. Downward facing dog on the exhale. Bend your knees a little, look forward to hands, and then walk or hop feet to hands on the exhale. Very good. Come up halfway to a flat spine. Inhale. Fold forward on your exhale. Now micro bend the knees. Not very much. A lot of us are already bent already, but that's going to support us to stand all the way up. Engage your core, open your arms, use your legs to help you come all the way up, and palms together, hands back to heart. Okay, Utkatasana, chair pose. Bend your knees as you drop your hips. Draw your shoulder blades down your spine. Now we're opening up shoulders today. One of the things I want to focus on is external rotation with the shoulders. What that means is thumbs kind of point out, pinky fingers kind of point in. Now draw your shoulder blades down your spine a little bit. Now this is our pose. We're going to hang out here for a couple more breaths. If you want to, you can lift your heels off the floor to add a little bit of calves to the mix, or a little bit more oomph to the mix. If you've had plenty of oomph, after all, it is Monday, right? If you have plenty of oomph already, don't worry about it. One more full breath. Drop the heels, take it forward, Uttanasana. Flat spine, inhale. Now your choice, straight to down dog or move through a vinyasa. Vinyasa is to say chaturanga, cobra or up dog, and downward facing dog. I like to make the vinyasas optional because some people, we got all of our, chaturangas quota met sometime in our 20s. We're good for the rest of our life. We're okay. Others of us can't get enough chaturangas, so I like to make those optional. Inhale, raise your right leg in the air and hold that pose. Now, when your right heel lifts, sometimes your right hip lifts, and what happens is your left shoulder drops to accommodate the lifted right hip, right? So try to keep your hips square. Think about what your shoulders are doing. Keep your shoulders square. It looks great, everybody. Now lift up onto your tiptoe of your left big toe. Bend your left knee. That's the spring. Now step your right foot forward between hands. We're moving to warrior one. So pull your back heel flat. Engage your core and raise your arms up to warrior one. Remember that little external rotation business? Pinky fingers kind of in, thumbs kind of out. Yeah, exactly. And a nice alternative doing similar kind of action is to even bend elbows at right angles, if that feels good, right? So again, we're opening up chest and shoulders today, whatever that's gonna look like. Bend your front knee a little bit deeper, inhale, and as you exhale, bring your hands back to the floor. Your choice, go straight to down dog or move through a vinyasa. Chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Yeah, great shoulders, everybody. Really, really nice, perfect. I see you working the shoulder blades together, drawing the shoulder blades down the neck, that's excellent. Raise your left leg in the air. Now, one of my secrets is I'll step my right foot slightly toward the middle of my mat, toward the left foot, then raise the left foot. Good. In your mind's eye, feel into what your hips are doing, feel into what your shoulders are doing. Now bend your right knee. Keep your right heel high, that's the spring. Look forward and exhale, spring lefty forward between the hands. Good. Turn your right heel flat. Engage your core as you raise your arms up in the air. Come back into warrior one on this side. Now, your front heel is going to be just slightly more to the left than your right heel would be if you were to step it forward. So kind of feel into that. You want your hip bones pointing straight forward, sternum, shoulders to point forward. Remember, we had the external rotation business this way, or we went goalposts with the elbows. Yeah. Inhale, raise your arms back to the sky. Exhale, sit your hands down to the floor. Your choice, down dog or move through a vinyasa. Follow your breath. Yeah, everybody, I love the precision. Excellent. Find your way back into downward facing dog. Now, here's a great option I love to invite people to explore in a down dog. Bring your feet as wide as or wider than your mat, and then press back toward your feet. feel into how this lets some of the tension out of your shoulders. So this is always a great option if you're feeling a little bit of tension in wrists or elbows or shoulders. This distributes the weight backward toward the feet, and so you get a little bit easier go. Okay, so whatever feels right, bend your knees, look forward to your hands, step, hop, or walk feet to hands, and then inhale up halfway to a flat spine. Go back to forward fold on your exhale, and move into chair pose again, Utkatasana. Now, at this time in Utkatasana, put your left hand to the outside of your right thigh, put your right hand back on your sacrum, fingers down, and push your hand into your sacrum as you pull your right shoulder blade back onto your spine. Now, eventually you might look past your right shoulder, that's fine, but take a moment and look down at your knees, particularly left knee, to make sure your left knee is in line with your right knee. Okay, so you're using your right hand, pushing into your sacrum as the fulcrum, as the lever to begin to twist your upper trunk toward the sky. I love it. Now, go back into a forward fold pose, hang out here and relax for a couple of breaths. Move back into Utkatasana, chair pose. And then right off the bat, kind of take a look at your knees, put right hand to the outside of left thigh, put left hand right square on your sacrum, right on the tailbone, palm down and push. As you push, that's going to pull your shoulder blade back into your spine, facilitated slightly with your right hand on the outside of your thigh. You're giving yourself this great upper back twist. Wonderful for these upper back muscles that run long ways against the spine. Good, go back into a forward fold on the exhale. On your next inhale, move back to Utkatasana, chair pose. This time with your right hand on your right thigh, you're going to push into the thigh such that your left elbow, triceps, come to the outside of your thigh, and make a fist on your bottom hand. Put your right palm on top of your left knuckles, and you're going to do the same thing. Instead of pushing to your sacrum, you're pushing into your knuckles to open up your twist. Look down to your left knee, pull it back in line with your right knee. Perfect. Good, that's our pose. Keep breathing. And then fold forward, Uttanasana. Keep your quads a little bit engaged. Pull, using your abdominal muscles, pull into your shins a little bit. Looks excellent, everybody. Go back into chair pose, inhale. Good. Switch to the other side. So left hand to left thigh. Put your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Now, I like a fist on the bottom hand just because it's something solid to push into. You can do whatever you want here. But as you push down, let your shoulder blades sort of pull in toward the spine and then down toward your hip bone. Yeah, excellent. Deep breaths. Last inhale here. As you exhale, straighten up and fold forward. Beautiful. Come to a flat spine on the inhale. Your choice, vinyasa or downward facing dog pose. We'll meet in down dog for a few breaths. Yeah, good. Now we've gone through a couple different options for down dog, right? Different placement of the feet. Closer together is going to be different than further apart. Different placement of the hands. Spinning the hands out is going to be a little bit different than spinning the hands in. So find your sweet spot for down dog. And then squeeze as if to pull your biceps into your temples to create a muscular alignment of the bones, muscularly hugging the bones in. Then just weight into the structure of the bones, right into the scaffolding of your bones. That way your muscles don't have to do all the work. They're just holding the scaffolding in place. Try this. Step left foot slightly toward the right foot. Not very much, just a couple inches. Raise your right leg in the air. Back to our three-legged downward facing dog pose. Yep, right leg's in the air. Perfect. Little bend in the left knee. And then step your right foot forward between your hands. Okay, we're going to go to warrior two now. So turn your left heel in line with your right heel. Swing all the way up and into warrior two. Since we're opening up our chest today, I'm going to invite you to bring your hands behind you and interlace the fingers. Keep your elbows slightly bent, but pull your shoulder blades toward each other, and then start to straighten your arms and bend your front knee a little bit deeper. Okay, so we're getting a little stretch for the pecs. From here, keep your hands together, drop your right shoulder to the inside of your knee, and let your neck relax as you look down in between your heels, reaching your knuckles up toward the ceiling. Borrow a little strength from your inner thighs as you squeeze your inner thighs by pulling your heels as if to move toward each other. Awesome. Go back to warrior two. Let's straighten out the front leg. Put your left hand to hip, lean forward, inhale as we move on our way in the direction toward triangle pose. Hand to shin. Now start with your left hand to your hip, point your elbow toward the wall behind you, let that open up your chest, slide your shoulder blade down your spine, and then raise your left arm toward the ceiling in triangle pose. Now, in triangle pose, reach your left arm slightly forward at an angle toward the wall or the person in front of you. See where that big red door is? Yeah, exactly, Amy. Perfect. Now, pull your shoulder only back toward the wall behind you. That's what I'm talking about. Nice. And then open it up again. Essentially, you put your arm in its socket. It acts like a crowbar to leverage open your trunk. Beautiful. Set both hands to the floor. Let's find our way back into downward facing dog pose. Optional vinyasa. Still tank top weather, you're still working on those triceps, go for the extra chaturanga, I don't know. Step right foot slightly toward the left, raise your left leg up in the air. Now some of you are already doing this, but it's really wise. A little bend in your standing leg leverages the femur head right into the hip socket. As you're ready to, step the left foot forward between hands. Turn your right heel flat, so your right heel is right center of the foot's in line with the left heel, and then open up into warrior two pose on this side. Good, nice full deep breath, everybody. As you're ready to, bring your hands behind you, straighten out your arms and begin to stretch through the pecs. Now, I can hyperextend my elbow, so I want to keep my elbows straight but not locked. Bend your front knee even deeper. Squeeze as if to pull your legs together to fire your inner thighs, and then bring your left shoulder down to the inside of your knee in this humble warrior, arms reaching toward the ceiling. And here's where we really want to be careful not to lock out our elbows. Good. Release the hands, come back into warrior two on your way to triangle pose. To check it out, I'm going to put right hand to hip, spin on the ball and socket of left hip joint, lean forward on a big inhale, and then drop my hand to the shin, roll the shoulder back, and reach your right arm up toward the sky. So this is like triangle pose first draft. And it feels good. We're going to get a couple of deep breaths here. And then I want to refine this pose, particularly vis-a-vis the shoulder. So reach your arm, your hand toward the wall in front of you, toward that silvery door thing. Pull your shoulder back toward the wall behind you. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And then open up your chest again back toward the sky. Feel how your arm bone, when it's resting in your socket, leverages your shoulder blade onto your spine, onto your back, and that whole contraption turns your trunk more open toward the ceiling without sacrificing shoulder. So good. Exhale, both hands come down to the floor. Take it back either to downward facing dog pose or move through your vinyasa. Yeah, awesome. Very similar. Step your left foot slightly toward the right. On an inhale, raise your right leg up in the air. Little bend in the left knee, remember. Now step your right foot all the way forward between the hands, come back to warrior two. This time in warrior two, bring your forearm to your thigh or right fingertips to the floor. Send your left arm across your temple to begin with, but then you're going to bend your left elbow and place your left palm behind your head. And you're going to use your head pressing into your palm as you reach your left elbow toward the front of the room and find that nice stretch running down the left side of your rib cage. I know I'm asking a lot, but also imagine yourself turning your trunk upward toward the sky. Collarbones and navel turning toward the ceiling. Move back into warrior two. Straighten out the right leg. Lean forward to triangle pose and reach your left arm forward across your temple. So this is a little bit different placement of the hand. Yeah, excellent. Yes, perfect. Find that nice stretch through the left side. Now bend your left elbow, put your left palm behind your head. Keep your elbow pointing straight forward toward me and use your head pulling into your hand to open up your trunk even more toward the sky. Yeah. Gaze can be straight forward toward the door. Gaze can be down or up past your armpit. Now, if you just can't get enough of this pose, you could also reach your right arm forward too. So there's no support on the bottom arm. Okay, just an option. Hands come to the floor, everybody. We're going to step back into downward facing dog. Optional vinyasa. Stick with me. We got one more side with these other couple poses, and then we're going to take a break. Okay. From down dog. When you're ready, right foot slightly steps toward left. Good. Also, lefty lifts into the air. Step the left foot forward between your hands as you move back open into warrior two pose. On your warrior two, find your way into side angle pose, Parsva Konasana. So left elbow to thigh or left fingertips to the floor. Remember that little external rotation business? This is going to be pinky down, thumb up. Now bend your right elbow. Place your palm behind your head, but keep your elbow pointing to the front of the room. This is sort of like a turning of your bicep upward toward the ceiling. Perfect. Good, Amy. Excellent. Excellent, everybody. Beautiful. Back to warrior two. Inhale. Here comes this triangle variation. So lean forward on the inhale. Hand to shin. Start with your right bicep reaching across your temple. And then turn so the palm faces toward the wall behind you. Now bend your elbow. Good. Exactly. And if possible, your elbow still points forward toward me. Think of triceps rolling downward toward the floor as bicep rolls upward toward the ceiling. For the last breath or two, if you feel so inspired, you could also bring your bottom arm to reach forward in this pose as well. Awesome. Both hands come to the ground, everybody. Step back into down dog. Give yourself a couple of long breaths in down dog. Maybe a breath in through the nostrils and a sigh out your mouth. And then bring your knees down to the mat, everybody. Bring your elbows down to the mat. We're going to kind of move in this puppy pose, but put your palms together. Rest your forehead perhaps on the mat. And then bend your elbows so that your fingers point upward toward the ceiling. It's like the praying puppy pose. Come up to hands and knees, everybody. I invite you to find a comfortable seated position. Now, I'm going to suggest Vrajasana like this. If kneeling like this doesn't work for you, you can just come to a standing on your knees pose or just a sitting pose, because really what I want to focus on is eagle arms, which we're going to just start for the arms portion of this, and we're going to add the balance portion next. So start your arms open wide. And mirror me, bring your left arm on bottom and right arm on top. Now, you can also clasp shoulders if this feels better. Otherwise, wrap your forearms around, lift the elbows up off your chest, and press your forearms away from your nose. Squeeze as if to pull your elbows as tightly as you can together, and press your forearms away from your nose, and I get this great stretch in the upper trapezius muscle. A little slow turn of the head side to side. Of course, you got your Ujjayi breath going. I don't need to tell you that Ujjayi breath is the secret to the universe. Everything else is just sort of like Jedi mind tricks, but Ujjayi is where it's at. That's the force. Nice. Release. Shake it out. Arms wide again. Right arm on bottom, left arm on top. Okay, so either clasp or kind of wrap the forearms or just hold on to the shoulders. Remember to squeeze the elbows in tightly. Press the forearms away from your nose. Breathe into your upper back. Let your breath expand from the inside out up into your shoulders. And I like the little turn of the head side to side. I feel that that's really nice on the upper back and shoulders. Okay, when you've had a good run with this, rinse all that tension with the side of the mouth, kind of shake out your hands. And let's put ourselves back into a downward facing dog pose. Bend your knees a bit, look up to your hands, and as you exhale, walk or hop feet to hands. Go up to a flat spine on your inhale, fold forward again on your exhale, and then move into chair pose, Utkatasana. Now this chair is going to be a little bit different because normally in Utkatasana your butt hangs back quite a bit. We're going to bring our hips forward directly over the ankles so the knees are going forward at an angle as we prepare for Garudasana eagle pose. Okay, so left leg up on over the right. Either the big toe touches the floor, hangs in the air, or swings all the way around your calf. Now whatever leg is on top, that arm is going to go on bottom as we swing it up into full Garudasana eagle pose. Feel your abdominals pull up and in. Uddiyana Bandha is going to be like the glue that holds this together. Keep your standing leg nice and bent. These poses look stellar, everybody. Really, really good. I love it. It's perfect, Mike. Now, unwind your eagle, open it up, grab hold of your foot. It's like the eagle goes and lands in a tree. You see a whole narrative going on here? And then reaches up to the sky. A little throwback to what we were doing last week. You can bring your hands together, your heart. Bring your knee up in front. Same knees in the air. You're going to hold the opposite knee with opposite hand, or grab hold of the opposite foot with opposite hand, and take a glance backward. Good. Bring it forward, look forward, and then just take it forward and relax into a standing forward fold pose. Nice, everybody. Let's hang here for a little bit. Come all the way up to a standing position as you're ready to. Okay, hands back to heart. Stand on your other leg, okay? And now I like to just start with the arms open wide, right? This is standing leg is really the whole pose. Everything else is just the Jedi mind tricks. Okay, so your big toe could be on the floor, your big toe could be wrapped around your ankle, it could just be floating. Whatever leg is on top, That arm is on bottom, though I'm not fundamentalist about it. Find Uddiyana Bandha. Unwind your eagle. Keep that same upper leg, that knee bent. Hold on to opposite knee with opposite hand. This might be plenty of a balance right here. You could also hold on to the outside of your foot. And then if you're game, we'll look back. Good. We forgot the tree pose, so we'll bring the tree limb up into the trunk. And then bring it back down and relax. Nice. Yeah, sometimes those standing bounces can be humbling, you know what I'm saying? I did a whole class a couple weeks ago. It was like focused on standing bounces. Humbling, very humbling. Okay, so we're going to find our way back into a downward facing dog whenever you're ready. Move through a vinyasa if that's your game. From down dog, we're going to transition into dolphin pose. Start off on an elbows and knees position. And let's clasp our biceps. So clasp right hand to left bicep, left hand holds right bicep. This sets your elbows to be perfectly shoulder distance apart. Now release your elbows and bring your forearms parallel to one another, or make a double fist, either one works. Before you lift up, if you're already up, that's fine, but set your shoulder blades together. Tuck your tailbone under, find your core strength. Beautiful. Now lift up into dolphin pose and let your head hang between your biceps. Yeah, that's it. Good. Yeah, perfect. Now you get to choose. You can walk your toes toward your elbows a little bit more to bring your hips more over your shoulders if that feels right for you, or you can kind of keep similar distance as it was in a downward facing dog pose. We've had a good run with dolphin. Bring your knees down to the floor and rest either in a puppy pose or child's pose. Puppy is sort of the amalgam of down dog meets child's pose. So you'd keep your hips pretty much over your knees and your arms reaching forward if you've got a knee issue. Yeah. Okay, dolphin, one more time. Let's come back up to elbows and knees position. Clasp your biceps just to kind of get that rough elbow distance apart. Now, again, if you'd be more strong with your hands in a double fist, do that. Classically, the palms down, but set shoulders together. Find your core strength. Press your palms into the mat as you rest your ears between your biceps. Deep Ujjayi breaths. If it serves you, walk your toes closer to your elbows. When it feels all right, after maybe 4 or 5 breaths, come back down and relax. Again, either for child's pose or puppy pose. Okay, so this time around we're going to do either dolphin pose take 3, the same thing, or we're going to kind of flirt around a little bit with Mayurasana or peacock feather pose. You could also move to the wall, so if you want to try an inversion you can, you don't need to. So the options are staying with dolphin, doing a couple donkey kicks, or moving up into our forearm stand thing. Okay. If you wanted to move up against the wall so you've got a little support, you could try that too. Okay. If you haven't done this before, I would highly encourage you to use the wall first, unless you're like a gymnast in a past life. I almost decapitated myself doing this for the very first time. I saw somebody like, I can do that. And I started going over thinking, there's no way out of this pose. I'm gonna die. I'm here to tell the tale. It worked out okay, but I wish I would have tried up against the wall first. Dolphin creates the foundation that makes us feel comfortable in the pose. It gives us the control and the stability. Yeah, that's it, Karen. And yep, and check it out. Watch this. If I keep my legs super, super straight, that gives me the momentum and the stability to lift. The other thing I'm thinking of is I push my elbows into the floor. The elbows pushing down. Oh, and by the way, one thing I failed to mention too, if you're going to be doing the lifting up into Mayurasana, you will now change your gaze down to the floor rather than back behind you, so that helps. Yeah, watch. Yeah. Just try this, just like swing it up. Yeah, that's it. Good. Yeah, that's it. So check it out too. It's this straight leg that gives me all the momentum for my lift. The bottom foot hardly does a thing. It just kind of like, just a little teeny lift on the way up. So. Yeah, so lefty would come almost all the way down the mat and then do a sharp swing up, and that's going to be the thing that lifts you back up. So watch one more time. So I've got my right leg up, my left foot's on the floor. If this comes almost all the way down, takes a sharp swing up, and that's what gives me my lift. Yeah, it's all good. When you feel like you've had enough upside downedness, be that in dolphin pose, be that in Mayurasana peacock feather pose, let's come back to I want to come to a lying on our chest position. We're going to do shoulder pigeon, and shoulder pigeon is where we're going to essentially bring our arm back behind us, but the temptation of this pose is to roll the shoulder forward. And I'm going to see if we can keep the shoulder off of the floor. So here's what I'm talking about. We're going to bring our right arm perpendicular to our trunk. I'm going to bend my elbow just a little bit so my shoulder's not on the floor. And then I'm going to roll over to my side. The first thing that's going to want to happen is my right shoulder, the front of my deltoid, is going to want to drop down into the floor. Not a total deal breaker, but see if you can keep it lifted. Makes it slightly harder, but also integrates, yeah. And push your right palm into the floor. That's it. Yep, and your left big toe can touch the floor behind you if you'd like. Yeah, beautiful. Roll back over onto your belly, other side. So start with your left arm out, perpendicular to your trunk. Push your palm down. The shoulder's going to lift up a little bit. Then roll over to your side. Go out, son. You got it. Nice, Miriam. Good. Ease your way back up to neutral. Come back up to hands and knees, everybody. Actually, no, sorry. Stay right where you're at. You're on your belly. This time, what we're going to do is we're going to bring our right arm on bottom, left arm on top. Now, this is easier done than said, because it's when you're trying to think about what I'm saying, it doesn't make sense. Your palms are down, your chin is going to rest on your triceps here, and I'm going to get the stretch on the outside of my muscles, and then we have a weird transition that I'll show you when the time comes, right? I call this the "where have you been all my life" deltoid stretch. I think this feels amazing. Now, here comes a weird transition. You're going to turn your right palm open toward the ceiling, and essentially that arm's going to stay exactly where it is, and you're going to roll over to your right side, pull your knees to your chest, and put your left shoulder blade on the floor, and now you're in a twist. Straighten out your legs again, roll back over onto your belly, and this time, left arm goes on bottom, right arm's on top, palms go down again, rest your chin on your triceps. Turn left palm open. Keep your left arm essentially exactly where it is as you roll over onto your left shoulder. Pull your knees toward your chest and extend your right arm off to the side as you come into a twist. Okay, roll back over onto your belly. Come up to either a standing on your knees position. We're going to move toward Ustrasana, or camel pose. Okay, so standing on your knees position, or Vrajasana, or you can just come to a kneeling pose like this. Now, what I want to emphasize today is how the upper part of the back facilitates through the shoulders to pull back when I can stabilize this and push down my hands into my feet. My lower back just takes this nice sigh of relief. Okay, so what I'm going to do, start here with my hands so that my thumbs are literally pushing on my sacrum, and I'm pushing down as my elbows pull together. So that stabilizes the upper back and lengthens the lower back. Now, if I were to just sit here, and I might even fold over my mat an extra time because the floor is hard, and just look up to the sky as I push down to my sacrum, my lower back goes, why don't you do this every day? But I can start to lean a little bit further back, no pinchiness allowed. I'm thinking sternum up toward the ceiling, shoulder blades pull together to support the upper back. Now my hands are always supporting the lower back, even if my hands transition to my heels. And I push down into my heels as I pull my hips forward. My lower back is still going, thank you. Because if I weren't using my arms at all, my lower back would be going, Ease your way back, hands to lower back, come back upright, and then either through cat-cow position or a child's pose, ease any tension out of your lower back. Now, there's another way to get into this pose that some of you may or may not like, but you start off like this, without a back bend. You start off with your hands already on your heels, and then essentially you push your hands into your heels as you bring your hips forward and open up into the pose. Now, I still like to come out of the pose like this. It puts a weird tension on my knees to come back out, butt to heels. but you may want to try this pose one more time, and if you choose to, you might choose the hands to heels first, and then pull up into Ustrasana, camel pose. I've got my toes curled under, but you don't necessarily need to. You can put the tops of the feet toenail side down, dorsal side. You might be more flexible in your back than me. Good. Awesome. Okay, next stop, everybody, is a luxurious figure 4 stretch lying on our back. So before we even get there, lie down, just give yourself a bear hug, and just kind of do a little rock side to side. You might even choose to open your arms wide and make some circles. This also feels really, really nice in the lower back. And as I'm doing so, I'm very conscious to roll through the glute muscles and get as much of my weight of my legs pressing down into the glutes. Often, when I work with a private client, I make them get a foam roller. You know, the foam rollers are kind of like that thing, but it's like, you know. And they're like, "You're not going to make me use that, are you?" And like, "Yes, and you're going to love it." After about 2 sessions, you know, they really love it. We do this foam roller on the glutes thing, but you kind of get the same effect as you're doing this through the, on the floor. Okay, so eventually you're going to cross right ankle over left thigh. Keep your right toes flexed. Reach your right hand through in between your shin, you know, in between your legs, and just hold on around the outside of your shin. Then gently pull your left knee toward your chest until you feel a good enough stretch. Our objective here, we're aiming for duration over intensity. So we don't necessarily need to be intense here. And just give yourself tons of time. Now use your breath. Imagine your breath moving deeper into and opening up your hip. I know we don't have lungs in our hips, right? But you can nonetheless use your breath as sort of an opener, kind of move into that area. Let your jaw go soft. Whoa. And then do a slow motion rock side to side. So you're doing the same pose, but you're just doing this slow side to side business. Good. Now release your thighs, send your legs out straight. Take a deep breath in through the nostrils. Just lying down kind of like Shavasana. Deep breath in. Sigh out your mouth. Again, in through the nostrils, out through the mouth. Now we're going to get to the left side, but take a moment and notice the energy difference between right side to left side. And then when it feels right, cross left ankle over right thigh. Reach through with your left hand as you hold behind your right thigh. And do a gentle pull in toward your chest. Again, we're going for, length over intensity. So just go deep enough to feel like, yeah, I'm feeling something here. Expand your breathing. Visualize your breath moving into the place where you want this to stretch. So visualize this moving into the hip. Notice if there's any unconscious tension, like in your jaw. And then if it serves you, do that slow motion rock side to side business as we open up the hip in just a little bit away. Adding a little bit of motion to this gives adds a little bit of je ne sais quoi to the posture. So nice, everybody. Now, as you're ready to release this, send your legs out straight. Take a deep breath in through the nostrils and a sigh out your mouth. We're going to do 2 more of these. In through the nostrils, sigh out the mouth. 1 more. Now, you get to kind of choose where you want to go next. This is a perfect place to go straight into Shavasana. If you feel like it, you might choose to do a couple more poses that might help prepare you better for Shavasana, right? So our next official stop will be Shavasana. Take your time getting there. If you need to throw in another hip opener or another twist or something like that. Whenever you do find yourself ready to move into Shavasana, practice a systematic release. Start your face and let that go. Maybe that is accompanied by another sigh out the mouth. Follow with the conscious release of the arms, bless you, of the trunk and the torso, the belly, the back. Let go of the legs and the hips, let go of the feet. And then from like head to toe, like you could go all the way down again, relax even deeper. See if you could let go even more. If you could anchor your attention on one thing, like be that your breath, maybe one spot on your body or something, anchor your attention on one thing. Take a couple deep breaths in and out through the nostrils. When you're ready to, move fingers and toes a little bit. Eventually, we'll move over to one side on your way up to a seated position. And then when you come up, you can either rest with your hands together at your heart or thumb and first finger together on your knees here. And if you want to join me, we'll chant Om once to finish your practice. Let's inhale. Om. Thanks, everybody. Namaste.